Selamlar herkese. Google Cloud Builders'te yeniden hoş geldiniz. Şimdi Galata Odası'nda günün teknik oturumlarıyla devam edeceğiz. Ben Ege Kaan Işık. Bugün bizlerle beraber Abdel olacak. Build and Deploy to Google Cloud with Antigravity sunumuyla bizlerle beraber. Küçük bir hatırlatma. Şu an chatte $5 Google Cloud kredisi için bir link mevcut. Oradan da Google Cloud kredinizi alabilirsiniz. Welcome back to Google Cloud Builders Day. We are starting with the technical sessions in Galata Room. I'm Ege Kaan Işık. Now Abdel is with us with Build and Deploy to Google Cloud with Antigravity workshop. A quick reminder: don't forget to check the chat because there's a link for the Google Cloud credits. And yeah, Abdel, the stage is yours.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Ege. All right. Hello everyone. I think we probably give it minutes to see. Oh yeah, we have a bunch of people. Awesome. Cool. Oh, hey folks. So we're gonna do the first workshop of today events, which is gonna be building and deploying applications with Antigravity. So we only have 1 hour. We don't really have that much time. So I'm gonna get you started. We're gonna install Antigravity together. We're gonna get a Google Cloud account for free together. And then we're gonna try at least to do the first couple of steps. But definitely, I don't think that we're gonna be able to finish the entire content today. So the idea would be that we get started and then you will have the material to finish it later when you want. So yeah, Abdel, I think everybody knows me, so I'm just gonna skip through it. The first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you install Antigravity. So this is gonna take a bit of time. So I'm gonna drop a link in the chat for everyone. Give me 1 second. Maybe you can do it for me. I get this link in the chat, please, while I am logging into YouTube. Oh yeah, here we go. If you can. Oh, I think as an. Oh, okay, thank you. Cool, thank you. I cannot put links in the chat because I'm a participant. I'm not an admin. But yes, if you can go to this link and deploy, install Antigravity on your laptop. So I'm gonna show you how it works. So when you open the link, you have a download button in the top right corner. And then you can install the Mac version, the Windows version, or the Linux version, depending on which platform. So we're going to be building, I'm going to show you what we're going to be building. We're going to be building an event-driven ingestion pipeline. So the pipeline will get messages through cloud storage. So we'll upload files to cloud storage, which then will trigger pub/sub messages that will trigger a cloud function that runs on Cloud Run and to process those files and then store them into BigQuery. So it's a complete event-driven architecture. And so this particular workshop helps you use Antigravity to do the entire process, including deploying the application. So we'll see if we're going to be able to extend to get to the point of deploying the application today. But if we can get started at least with the setup, that would be good. Oh, cool. Yeah, we will make the workshops available for everyone, even if you're on the main stage. I see that some people said that they already installed the Antigravity, which is good. So let's see. How many of you have used Antigravity before? How many of the people on the stream have used Antigravity before? Let's see if people have used it or not. Isn't there a problem we need to address? No, there is no problems you need to address. I'm just going to guide you through the entire process. Awesome. Great. There's a lot of people who have used Antigravity before, so that's cool. That's very cool. All right. So if everybody have installed Antigravity, or at least some of you have, we can move to the next step. Good. All right. So the next step would be for you to get the GCP credits. So I'm going to have Ege drop this link into the comment section. And I'm going to guide you through the process of doing that. So if you are in the stream, copy the link and just wait. Don't do anything. I'm just going to show you how to go through the process of doing the claiming the credits. Waiting for. Yep. Yeah, we will share the recordings later. All right. Can you, Ege, if you can drop the link to the workshop into the chat, please? That would be great. Ah, yeah, perfect. There we go. It's already pinned. But can you just put it in the chat so people can copy it, if you don't mind? That'll be good. So for those who already have the link, here is what you're gonna do. You're gonna open. You need to use Chrome with a personal account. So you need to have a personal Gmail or a personal Google email, not like a university or a company email. It wouldn't work with company emails. It needs to be a personal email. So if you could load or copy the link into a Gmail, into a Chrome profile that has Gmail, you have this button called sign in. So click on sign in and then choose a Gmail account to sign in. So it will say Istanbul Builders Day 2026. And then you can click on the click here to get to access your credits. You're gonna get this page. It should say, it should have your name, your first and last name. You don't have to do anything, just scroll all the way down and there is a button called accept and continue. You're not gonna be able to see it on the stream because my picture is hiding it, but there is a button called accept and continue. So click on that button and then wait a few seconds and then it will load this page. And I'm gonna stop here to see if you all got this page loaded, or at least those who are following. I'm gonna wait a second here to see, make sure that you have this page loaded. If you have this page loaded, just wait, don't do anything. I'm gonna show you what's next. All right, cool. So now what we need to do is we need to create a GCP project. So if you click on the Google Cloud logo on the top left corner, you will be, I'm gonna switch this to light mode. Just give me a second. No, this is not what I want to do. Oh, hold on, 1 second, sorry. Yeah, appearance light mode. This is more visible. So what you could do is, as I said, click on the Google Cloud logo to go back to the home page, and then click on this drop down here. So for most of you, it's going to say no project. It's fine. If it says no project, it's fine. Just click on it and then click on new project. Then you can give it a name. I'm gonna call it Builders Day 2026. And make sure if you have this drop down called bidding account, make sure it says Google Cloud Platform trial bidding accounts. Now, if it doesn't appear, it's fine. For most of you, you're not going to see it. But if you see it, just make sure you select the Google Cloud Platform trial bidding account. And then click on create. and then you should see this like spinning thing on the top right corner, and then if it says project created, builder's day, click on select project. And that's it. That's all we need to do for now to create the project. So this GCP project, FYI, is what you are going to need to deploy the application later. So we're going to start with Antigravity. We will build the application inside Antigravity, and then we will deploy it inside this GCP project. So I'm going to give you a second here to do that. And then last but not least, I will share with you the link for the material. So I'm going to drop it in the chat for those of you who want to progress. Thank you. Awesome. So now we can just leave the GCP projects opened. We don't need it for now. What is the difference between the room and the other one? So this room, we're doing a workshop. The other room, it's a talk. That's the main difference. So the last link I shared, which is in the chat now, that's basically the workshop material. So open that in a Chrome profile somewhere. And then we can start working. So now you can open Antigravity and start following the steps in the workshop material. So you can skip the first page. At some point, you're going to need to install gcloud. You see in the instructions here, it will ask you to install gcloud, but you can do this later. You don't need to do it now. But you can go straight into the overview of the application. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the workshop because, as I said earlier, I don't think that we're going to be able to finish it today, but at least you will have an idea about what this workshop is about. And then we will, then you will have time later to do it at home when you want. So this is the application that you're going to be building. So this application has a cloud storage bucket, which is our ingestion bucket. We will users will upload files into this bucket. That when we upload the file, it will trigger a message into PubSub. So PubSub is our messaging queue in Google Cloud. So when a file is uploaded, PubSub will automatically be populated with a message that says, the file uploaded and with the name of the file, which then will trigger a Cloud Run service. Sorry, I said earlier function, it's actually a service. So this is an HTTP service. So the message will be sent to Cloud Run via HTTP, which then will download the file from the cloud storage. So the PubSub only contains the file name, but the file content is still in PubSub in a storage. So the service will download the storage or the file from the storage bucket, and then it will process it and then push it into BigQuery. And so this is a traditional, typical event-driven architecture that is quite common for people to implement in Google Cloud. Those files could be anything. They could be CSV files, they could be XML files, they could be JSON files, they could be audio files, they could be video files, they could be anything, right? So now if you go to step 3, that's essentially where we are going to be using Antigravity to plan this application. So I'm going to actually open Antigravity and start going through the workshop with you. Just a quick check. How many people have installed Antigravity and created the projects and now are following the material, following the workshop material? If you can just raise your hand in the chat, that would be great. And also, FYI, you can ask me questions if you want during this session. If you have questions, just leave them in the chat. I will answer them as we are progressing. Awesome, a bunch of you. Good, great. Love to see that. Right, so before you start working with Antigravity, if you haven't used this before, you will need to log in. So when you open Antigravity, if you go to the top right corner, if it says login, then you will have to click there and log in with your Gmail account, with your user account. I think for me, it's already logged in, so I don't need to do anything. But if it asks you to log in, you will have to do that. All right. So Antigravity has this window on the right side, which is basically the agent. So that's how you are going to be talking to Gemini to ask it to do things. And you will be seeing that there are two drop downs in that window. One is called conversation mode, which has two possible modes, planning or fast. The difference between these two modes is that if you choose the fast, then when you write a prompt to the agent, it will start implementing things right away. In planning mode, when you write a prompt to the agent, it will create a plan with let's see. The question is, do we open? I think we can just just go to the agent manager, follow the instructions in the workshop. Just go to the agent manager and then start from there. Just make sure that when you go to the agent manager that you choose conversation, you see this new conversation in, make sure it's in playground. You can also just create a new folder and do everything in your folder. It's up to you how you want to do it. But yeah, you will see, but for example, on the left side, you will see all the workspaces I have. So here I have like 2 workspaces. And then you have this thing called playground, which is an independent workspace. That's like a default workspace if you want. So I was saying there is the planning mode. So what you're going to notice with the planning mode is that the agent will create a plan with a set of tasks. And then you can actually go on the plan and leave comments on it. So you can modify what Gemini came up with. And then on the right, you have the model. So you can choose Gemini 3, you can Gemini Pro. So I usually just use 3.1 Pro, which is the latest model. Sometimes Gemini Pro is overkill. So if you're trying to do something very simple, Gemini Flash is usually more than enough. Because what Gemini Flash does is that it's fast. It's very fast to answer your question. So now I'm going to take the prompt from the workshop. And let's go through these prompts. So the prompt says, I want to build a serverless event-driven document processing pipeline on Google Cloud. And then I tell it what the architecture is. So I have an ingestion, which is user upload files to a bucket. Then I have a trigger, which allows me to trigger a pub/sub message. Then I have a processor, which is the Cloud Run service. So it's a Python-based Cloud Run service that receives the message, process the file, and then extract the metadata. And then I stream the metadata to BigQuery. I'm going to fire it up, and I will let it do its thing. What should happen next is that it will create a plan for us. So, so it's going to do that. And then we will be able to review the plan and either ask Antigravity to execute it, or we can ask modifications. Sorry, we can ask for modifications. It's in the workshop. The prompt is in the. Yeah. Everybody just follow the prompt in the workshop. It's in step 3 called planned architecture. Just follow that. Let me show you. The prompt is here. Planned architecture. This is the prompt. Just follow that. Right. So while you're all doing that, for me, it's already finished. It took 16 seconds to come up with a plan. I'm using my Google account, so I might have a higher quota than most of you or some of you. So perfect. So once it's finished, you will be able to click on this button called implementation plan, and you will have the full implementation plan on the right side. So let's see. What did it say? Proposed changes. We will organize the project inside the user workspace and the documents pipeline. So it said basically that it will create a folder called documents pipeline. So it will put all the code and all the scripts. So we have design. So the question is, the AI models are not deterministic, which means you might get a different output than what I'm showing right now, which is true. For this particular example that we're doing, it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. So I'm not too concerned about people getting different outputs. I think that it doesn't matter what the output looks like. I think it will work for everyone. But yes, if you are doing something more complex, then the output might be different. And that's where the anti-gravity agent skills come into the picture. So it's a little bit outside of the scope of what we're trying to do here. But if you look for agent skills on the anti-gravity page, you will be able to see how you can actually write instructions for anti-gravity to always generate the same answer. Yeah, and as somebody said, the simpler the prompt, the more similar the results will be. So, all right, so it's proposed. It will write a deploy script to create the infrastructure or to set up the infrastructure. Of course, this is very important because we have, in this particular case, we have to create a GCS bucket. We have to create pub subtopics. We have to create a data set in BigQuery. So it will do that, and it will put that under deploy.sh. What the script will do, it will set up the GCP project and enable the APIs. It will create a cloud storage bucket. It will create a BigQuery dataset. It will create a service account for BigQuery. And then it will configure event arc to route storage objects for the PubSub, yes, for the Cloud Run. Then it will create a file called main.py, which will be a Flask or Fast API application. This is interesting. It said Flask or Fast API. So this is actually where you can, you see here, it says a Flask or Fast API. So it's not sure what it will be doing. So I'm just gonna go here and put a comment and say use Fast API. So this is what the planning mode is good for, because you can actually review what the AI will do, and then you can give it inputs. So here I'm telling it, don't choose. I'm telling you, use Fast API. Okay. So the application will listen to incoming post requests, parses the event retrieves, simulates OCR by generating mock tags and word counts, and use the Google Cloud BigQuery client to stream inserts. It will create requirements.txt, of course, because this is Python. We need dependencies. So this is an example. Just a quick note. The very common way of people to manage dependencies in Python is using pip. So you have pip and pip install and all this stuff. So it will use this requirement.txt. I am personally not a big fan of pip. I like another framework called UV. It's written like this, if you're curious. So what I could do is I could go here and put a comment and say, use UV for dependency management. So I'm just telling it, don't use. So it will install these dependencies, which makes sense. Then it will create a Docker file using the Python 3.11 Slim. And then here it says important. So these are things that I need to review. It says, do you have a specific project's ID? And we do, because we have the project's ID. We have created the projects in the project's ID, if you remember. Is there a specific region do you want the resources to be deployed to? So here it says US Central 1. It will default to US Central 1. I can say use Europe West 1, for example. Do you prefer Terraform or deploy.sh? I will say deploy.sh. By the way, you don't have to follow me. You don't have to do the same exact thing I'm doing. What is the workshop material link? Ege, can you share the workshop material link, please? I cannot do it, but it will be shared with you. We're using Antigravity. Yeah, here we go. Thank you. And then it will, it decided that it's not going to implement any tests. So it's okay. We can do manual verification. So as part of the manual verification, we will have to run the deploy.sh scripts, upload a simple log to the buckets. So upload a file, and then check the logs of the Cloud Run service to make sure that the processing happened, and then query the BigQuery table to make sure that the metadata was pushed to BigQuery. So that's essentially what the plan looks like. You can see all the comments I left. So of course, you feel free to change those comments as you want. And then in the tasks file, I see here that it basically has the list of all the tasks. So I can also leave comments to add or remove tasks or do any sort of changes I want. So if I'm happy with all of this, I can basically just click on proceed, and then watch the anti-gravity doing its thing. So it will be going through the tasks. I can actually follow the tasks. Where are the tasks? Sorry. Yeah, if I scroll up and click on the tasks.md, you will be able to see that it will be checking out those tasks checkboxes as it's proceeding. And sometimes here, this is part of how anti-gravity works, is that as it's doing the implementation, it will ask you for permission to execute certain things. So this is an example where it's trying to create a folder, for example. So I can say run, I can click on run. And so that will create the folder. So if I go to, if you go, for example, here, I should be able to see, what was the folder name? Documents pipeline. So if I go to my home folder, I should be able to see what is document pipeline. No, it's created it inside Antigravity Playground. Okay, so it's created it inside .gemini. So I will have to somehow go to .gemini /playground. Right, maybe I will do it from the, oh no, oh, it was there. I missed it, sorry. .gemini /playground. Come on. Okay, I don't know. I missed it. Okay, it's fine. Oh, okay. So sometimes it will fail because I have limited quotas. So if it does, just click on retry. Let's see. does your comment update further implementation in the plan? For example, if you use your document in dependencies, it's suggested again to use Flask or Fast API. No, if you the comments will be integrated into the plan, so it will take into account the comments to implement the new plan. We will be able to see. Just wait a second. We will see how it works. I think we could already see here. You see, because I asked it to use UV instead of pip, it opted to create a pyproject.toml. So pyproject.toml is how UV manages dependencies. Otherwise, it would have created requirements.txt, right? All right, I have to retry. Okay, this is the downside of using doing live demos is things might not work. Yeah, I think that the Gemini 3 has some capacity problems, especially that we're doing this during the day. So, right, just keep hitting retry. It will work eventually. Is it very sad that they imposed these limits yesterday? I'm not sure which limits are you talking about. I'm not really quite sure for what are you referring to exactly, which changes. I'm not aware of any changes, so. Okay, so it have completed everything. So now I should be able to. Right, so let's see. I should be able now to open this folder. How can I open, because it's under .gemini. Mm-hmm. Okay, how is it? It's called document pipeline. So when you have the AI Ultra subscription, you get a higher quota, basically. That's the difference, right? Okay, so I think the easiest thing would be that we start the terminal here. And then I will just move the folder away from the .gemini, I think. So if I go to .gemini playground, yeah. Oh, no. Oh yeah, playground. Where did it create the folder? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where is the folder. Yeah, but where is the actual folder? .gemini antigravity. Oh, magnetic. Okay. I think that's the issue I had. Okay, cd.gemini antigravity playground. Magnetic Gemini. Okay, this is my folder, documents pipeline. Okay, so for those of you who didn't know, so the folder should be here. It should be under your home folder / this path. That's where the file or the folder should be. So now I can open this folder. Hopefully I can do that. Or actually what I will do is I will just move it. So I will move the documents pipeline under my home folder. data code. It's easier for me, and then I can just open it here. So if I go to data code, this is just how I organize stuff in my computer. So now if I open this, I have my deployment file. So you can see here that it actually did respect the comments I was giving it. So it did use Europe West 1 as the deployment target. It has, it should also have used, okay, so this is basically just the script to set up everything. We're gonna get back to this in a second. I think the next step in the workshop is to run the scripts or to, okay, generate application, blah, blah, blah. Verified application. Yeah. If we go back to the agent mode, yeah, okay, good. So I have my application here, so I can proceed. Then if I go to inside the application, you see here that it have used UV to manage the dependencies, and it used Fast API. So this is basically because I gave it the various prompts or the various comments, and it have wrote in like an application in Python. So now if I want to deploy this, I do have to do one thing before I proceed, is that we need to install G-Cloud, because this script here uses G-Cloud. So it will expect that G-Cloud will be installed. I have it installed, so I'm going to use my G-Cloud. But for those of you who doesn't have it, I'm going to, actually, if you want to install it, by the way, I suggest you go to step number 1 in the workshop, the introduction, scroll all the way down, and it's the last line. You can just click on the G-Cloud CLI and then install G-Cloud on your laptop. You have the Mac version. This is, yeah, you have the Mac version, you have the Linux version, you have the Windows version. So just go ahead and install it. And then once you install it, I will show you how to configure it. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it's okay. I'm gonna, so just because I have my G-Cloud already installed and I have few configurations, so I'm gonna create a new configuration. You don't have to do this. I'm just gonna do it because I want to keep stuff organized on my computer, but you don't have to do it. So I'm just gonna create a new configuration called Builders Day. So that's gonna create a new empty configuration for me, and then I will show you how to proceed. Could you please check? Information about the Gemini embedding 2 model could be provided. Yeah, I have no idea about the Gemini embedding 2. That's literally was released yesterday, so I still don't have anything, any information about it. Okay, Emra, I will check the community. If you, Emra, if you can find me on LinkedIn and send me the message, please. I'm gonna show you my LinkedIn profile. If you can scan this QR code and just add me on LinkedIn and send me a message with the forum that you're talking about, the link to the forum messages, I will take a look. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll proceed. We have 20 minutes left, so let's go ahead. Let's proceed. So if you have installed G-Cloud, all of you, I will show you how to configure it real quick. So the first thing you're going to do is G-Cloud auth login. So I'm going to type this command down here. It will give you a link. So what you could do is you could copy that link and then paste it into the same window where you have the projects that you created earlier. You remember we created the GCP project using your Gmail account? Just paste it into the same window. And then click next, next, next, next, until you see you are now authenticated with G-Cloud CLI. So that's the first step. Once we have done that, we just need to do one more thing. I'm gonna go to this page where I have the GCP projects created, and I'm gonna get the project's ID. If you don't see the project ID, just go to the Google Cloud homepage and then select the project, copy the project ID. And then you go to the gcloud command line, and then you do gcloud config set project, and then you type your project ID. I'm gonna copy the command in the command line. So this project ID will be different for all of you because this is unique. So I'm gonna do this. There we go. So once you have your project set, and then you have your project ID set, then you should be able, I should be able to basically just run the deploy.sh. So I'm gonna run it, and I'm gonna let it execute. Oh, it fails. Why? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Ah, okay. No. gcloud config list. Ah. Let me try this one more time. Give me a second. We might need to do another authentication step, so let's see. Okay, I have the right projects. I have this, and I have the project here. So let me try this one more time. Hopefully now it will just, okay. So we might need to do this. Let's try this one to see if it helps. Finally, I can run the project. Okay, good. Some of you have managed to progress. Okay, sorry about that. Let me double check. I'm just double checking something real quick. Let's try one more time. Oh, that's funny. Why is it grabbing? It grabs gcloud config get value project. But that's, yeah. So why is it? Okay. It defaults to, okay. Let me do, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna modify the script slightly so I know it works. Here we go. Now it works. Okay, sorry. So if it fails because it picks up the wrong project, so yeah. By the way, I forgot. I think it fails because it picks up the wrong project. Just make sure that the first line is this, just in case. If it doesn't work, the easiest would be you hard code the project ID in the bash file in the script. So I could just have hard coded it, but I don't want to do that. But if it doesn't work, just this project's ID equal, remove this, and then just type your project's ID. And now it should just work, hopefully. Still doesn't work. But this could be because, yeah, I don't have billing enabled. Okay, that makes sense. If you get this error that says billing must be enabled, here is what I suggest you do. You go back to the Google Cloud Console, you look for billing, just search for billing into the search bar. Then if you get this project has no billing account, you can do link to a billing account, and then make sure you choose a Google Cloud Platform trial billing account. I have a lot of them because, okay. I have a quota issue on my project. Oh, okay. I choose another one. All right, good. Now it works. Let's try now one more time. So if you get an error that says billing not enabled, just go to billing and make sure you link your billing account to the right account. I have some private messages. Yeah. Just time check. I think. Yeah, if you haven't seen any issues, then you are good to go. Yeah, I think I have a lot of codes because I do a lot of workshops, so that's why. Right. So just time check. I think we have 13 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. But I think because the next workshop is starting right after me, I think I will stop probably at like 10:55, so to give Riccardo like 5 minutes to join. So I think, let's say we have 8 minutes left, more or less. I am really curious. Yeah, yes, I do also run into limits a lot, actually, even with my Google accounts. So, yeah. All right, so I ran the script. It's actually now at the stage where it's building my cloud run container. So we'll be able to see if actually anything happens. I only have a few minutes left, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop them here. And we have 15 minutes break. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll stop at 11. We stop at the top of the hour. Okay, so we have 12 minutes left, or even more if we want to keep going. I don't know. If you folks enjoy this, I can stay here and keep talking to you while the script is running. I hope I will be able to get my app deployed. But if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, it failed to deploy. So let's see why. If I copy this and go to check the logs of why it failed to deploy. No, okay, I'm on the wrong project. So if I go on this project here, my build failed because failed to build documents pipeline, blah, blah, blah. Run UV pip install. Failed to build, but it doesn't say why. Let me see what this thing did inside the Docker file. So you see this thing. Oh yeah. So actually, by the way, this is where AI comes handy, because if this fails, I can just say, let's say I can just ask the AI. So you see the problem with these kind of things is that I myself have the tendency to just like try to debug it myself. So and I kind of forget sometimes that there is I have a you know an AI that can help me do that. And one thing, by the way, I know is that this installs UV, then it copies it. So okay, let's say the build fail. I'm gonna copy the error. Built-in documents pipeline file app blah blah blah. I'm just gonna copy this error here. with this error. I'm just gonna tell it, okay, this is the error, just fix it. Let's see if it will be able to fix it. Yeah, I always forget that there is an AI that can help me. So I am using an AI to generate the application, and then I am when it fails, I just like I default to trying to debug it myself, which is kind of stupid. I ignore that there is actually a thing that can help me. Actually, one of the things that Gemini is really good at is actually helping you solve when it doesn't time out, is helping you solve these kind of errors. By the way, so those who have been asking me about why is it running UV version? It doesn't matter what UV version I have on my. It's actually checking UV on my laptop, but it doesn't matter because it's executing UV. Okay, I'm gonna reject it. Sorry, I'm gonna type another. The cloud build pipeline fails with error. Okay, you see why is it important to have a correct prompt? Because the initial question I said is my build failed. Sorry, and I didn't give it the right context because I think Gemini thought that I was trying to build it locally on my computer. But in this particular case, I am trying to debug why the build failed remotely in Cloud Build, not locally. So, so I had to stop it and then give it a correct prompt to say, hey, this is failing on the remote build pipeline, not on the local build pipeline. So let's see if it will be able to solve this problem. All right. Did anybody manage to deploy the application? Let's see. It have thought for like 18 seconds. It created a task. Oh, okay. Now check how to best install PyProject dependencies only via UV within modify caching step to avoid building the missing package or update to define the proper hatching configuration or package structure and meant to be installed as a package. Okay, let's see what we'll do. I think I know what the problem is. I think the issue is that it's, oh, that's weird. Okay. Requirements and UV build requirements.txt. Okay. So what did it say? Attempted to build the current in the copy, and this stage should take advantage of Docker. Remain. Okay. It's only copied the. All right. Okay, let's see if this solved the problem. So I'm just gonna rerun deploy.sh and see if it will work. So of course, when you run the command again, or when you run the script again, it will skip through the existing, because the first steps is just creating objects. So it should just skip through them because it have already created them in the first time we ran it. So I'm just gonna give it a few minutes. 5 minutes left, so we'll wait to see if it will help this time, if it will work. Okay, so oh no, it does have actually if else. Okay, good. And now it's waiting for 30 seconds. Now it will go to step 5, which is building the actual container. I have to admit that this is kind of weird. Is there a requirement? So there is no requirements.txt file in here. So, but let's see. We can actually follow the build if you want. So we can copy. I was able to get the application up and running. It was conflicting with the service running underneath. I had to stop the other Dockers. Why? Okay, interesting. So let's see, we can get the build pipeline link and then follow it in, well, that's not the right one. Google Cloud. This is the complete link. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, all right, good. Oh, did this succeed? Oh, yes, okay, the build finished, good. Okay, you see, sometimes it's just worth it to ask Gemini to solve its own problems. So it have actually managed to debug its own issue. And now it says gcloud creates. Oh, okay, so this is a problem I have on my computer. All right. Yeah, okay, so this is because I'm using a Google computer. This ECP proxy error, it's because I'm using a Google computer. Okay, so I know what the issue is. This is gonna take me time to debug. So I'm not gonna wait for it. I'm just gonna let you let me retry that one more time. This is just an internal thing that I should be able to bypass with the environment variable. But good, let's see. How many people? Yeah, I think we should start wrapping up. Yep. I only have 2 minutes left, or less than 2 minutes. Yeah, so I hope that this was useful for a lot of you. I'm going to continue troubleshooting it, troubleshooting at least the issue, because I really want to get it deployed. We are going to share with you the it seems like the developers of Antigravity also use Gemini 3.1. Yes, it seems like it. We're gonna share the recording. We're gonna share the links to claim the credits and also the links to the material. And yeah, I hope it was useful. And I hope you will have a good rest of the time with Builders Day Istanbul. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Abdel, for this amazing presentation. And now we're gonna have a 15 minutes of break, and we're gonna come back at 1:15. And yeah, thank you so much. Şimdi 15 dakikalık bir aramız olacak. Abdel'e çok teşekkür ederiz. Saat 13:15'te yeniden buradayız. Bu arada chatte birazdan bir direkt form paylaşılacak. Çekiliş formu yeniden paylaşılacak. İkinci form paylaşılacak. Oradan da yeniden çekilişe girmeyi unutmayın. Görüşmek üzere. Selamlar herkese yeniden. Şimdi ikinci oturumumuzla beraberiz. Wietse Venema bize The Garden of the Forgotten Prompt workshop'ıyla burada olacak, bizlerle olacak. Aynı şekilde chatte şu an hala $5 Google kredisi için linkimiz mevcut. Yine onu da almadıysanız eğer almayı unutmayın. Ve aynı şekilde de şu an ikinci formumuz da hala aktif. Onu da dediğim gibi eğer doldurmadıysanız doldurmayı unutmayın lütfen. Welcome back. Now with Venema is with us with the Garden of the Forgotten Prompt workshop. If you haven't already, please claim the $5 of Google credits by the link in the chat. And after that, the second form for the giveaway is now active. Please fill out as well. And now, Wietse, the stage is yours.
Hello. Yes, so the Garden of the Forgotten Prompt. It's a game I built. I really like building it, and I hope you will have a great time playing it. And you might also learn how to build an agent while doing it. So that's great. My name is Wietse Venema. I'm from the Netherlands, which is why the game is also set in the Netherlands. And I have never been eaten by a grue. So if you're old enough to remember text-based adventure games, this is Zork is one of the first text-based adventure games, and the grue is a thing that happened there. So of course the grue is also in the game. So what is a text-based adventure game? For, like, I'm assuming you might not be familiar. It's interactive fiction. So you read text. This game is set in 2050. So the future, there is a benevolent AI that will help us humans to be successful, and your task is to be a field operator, because, well, sometimes you have to go to the real world to explore solar facilities and find items, and, well, that's the narrative. And this AI is called the curator. So this is how it works. You read text, and you use your imagination to come up with how the room looks like. So we're now in the maintenance lobby, cool and dry air. It smells a bit like electrical sparks and old dust. And there is an open doorway to the north, leading into deeper darkness. I see a dusty workbench, and on the dusty workbench you see an amber chunk, a flint, and a steel striker. Now I can run a few commands. I can say help. Like, I can look around in the room, I can inspect my inventory, I can examine things, items, exits, everything in the room. I can move to take an exit, so I can move north to see what's there. I can take any item that I can see in the room. So maybe I can take the workbench. Well, of course, that doesn't work because it's way too heavy. I can use an item. This is important because sometimes you want to, like, open a door which is locked, so you need to use the key on the door to open it. You can drop an item. So maybe I will move north. So now I'm in a dark corridor. It's completely dark. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. No. I don't want to do this. Move south quickly. Okay. Okay, this is the puzzle, right? Dusty workbench, amber chunk, flint, examine chunk. A lump of orange amber found in the silt. You can vaguely see something trapped inside. Okay, this is interesting. So there might be a treasure hidden inside this thing, right? So if you want to get maximum points, you need to find all the treasures and take them to the end of the level. So here, examine the flint. Sharp piece of flint likely to use before emergency fire starting. Okay, this is interesting. Maybe if I want to create light, I need a fire. No? So yeah, okay. This is the thing. I also added a bunch of Easter eggs, so you can pretend that this is a terminal and do things. There's a lot of these things hidden inside. Now, what is the plan? We're going to use Google's Agent Development Kit, right? So what is an agent? It is Gemini, the model, or any other model, you provide it with tools, and then you give it a task to solve and instructions for how to solve it. Now, in this case, the tools that we're going to give our agent are all the actions it can do in the game, right? So every action here, look around, examine an item, inventory, everything is an API endpoint. So we're going to use Agent Development Kit and integrate the API with that agent to provide it access to those tools. And then it should be able to solve that level. Yeah, so that's basically the plan. So it starts with redeeming a credit. We've shared the links widely. There's going to be a link in the game thing too. Because if you want to use the Gemini API through Google Cloud, you need a billing account, right? And usually to create a billing account, you need a credit card. We don't want you to do that, so you get the $5 of free credit. So then you can go into the web console, create a Google Cloud project, and attach the billing account. Once you have that, you can play the game. This is going to be fun, right? You can play the game for a bit. Like, the important thing is here not to get lost in trying to play all the levels, because that's not the point of the workshop. I mean, you can still do it if you like it, but the whole idea is that you like get a feeling for the problem, like the game, and then you're going to use that knowledge to build the agent. So don't get lost in playing the game. Well, and then I'll show you how to create an agent with Agent Development Kit and teach it to play the game autonomously. So there is a link in the chat which brings you to this page, adventure.wietse.eu/Istanbul, right? So one button, redeem credit. Second is the workshop guide. This is a step-by-step instruction for playing, working through this. And I will start really like reading the instructions and executing the instructions. But it, like, the further you get, the more you will need to engage your brain. And I'm not going to give all the answers, and you need to like to explore it on your own. So first step is set up Google Cloud. This is redeeming the credits that I told you about, and play it. Test the game API. Then build your agent, connect the API endpoints to the agent so it has the tools to play the levels, and then figure out how to make it autonomous, and maybe add a custom tool, because I hit one puzzle in the game that cannot be solved by Gemini on its own. So you need to write some code to solve that puzzle. And there is a leaderboard. So if you go to leaderboards, there is going to be this one. It looks like some people are already playing. So you can like see like, okay, what is my score? Maybe I can improve. I can claim the top spot on the leaderboard maybe. So your name on this leaderboard is going to be marked in blue. You can click on it and then choose a different name. So if everyone starts out anonymous, but if you want to show your name, you can select and save that. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna leave you to it. I will check in back later to see how everything is going and provide some more instructions. But nothing is holding you back from getting started and going through it. It might be, you might hit challenges along the way. I really want to encourage you to leave a comment in the chat so I can help you solve issues, because I'm thousands of kilometers away, so I don't know where you're at. Please don't suffer in silence and share in the chat when you're stuck. You're trying to understand the game, but what's hard? Like, how can I help? Like the first level should guide you through it a bit. And like the curator is talking to you in this first level to guide you a bit more, so you don't have to struggle. It's like read the instructions, and like in this case, it's suggesting you to examine a pixel. So you do examine pixel. And once you examine the pixel, it solidifies into a small physical cube. And this is a treasure. Because if I examine the cube, looks like it could be a valuable asset. So that's a good hint that if you take it all the way to the end of the level, you will get extra bonus points. Yeah, there's some reading to go through. You just joined. Did you miss much? I showed what we're gonna do, and I shared a link to get started. It's all pretty self-explanatory. There's a link to the adventure.wietse/Venema.eu/e/Istanbul a bit higher up. Okay, so I'm gonna show how to claim the credit and create a project and attach the and make sure that it's billable, that you have a billing account. So if you follow the link that I posted in the chat, adventure.wietse.eu/e/Istanbul, you get to this page and you need to log in to access the page. That is for your account on the game. So that means your scores are going to be attached to your user account. And there is a leaderboard, but by default, you will be anonymous on this leaderboard. I'll have these pretend names. So I log in. I click redeem credit. Welcome to Builder Day. Redeem credit. Now I get to this page on trygcp.dev. And I sign in. It's important here to use a Gmail account. Only Gmail accounts are supported here. So I'll select that. And I choose click here to access my credits. Then I got to this page, GCP credits application. So my name is Wietse and my last name is TryGCP. And I can accept and continue here. The credit links are, I think, time limited, but if you are on your mobile, you can still claim the credits and then use them later. So I accept the terms and I got to this billing page. Now you can scroll down. There's this menu bar on the left, and I can scroll down to credits. And I will see a list of issued credits here, and one of them is going to be yes, that's today, start date March 12. This is the credit I have. Now I can click on the home button here, Google Cloud, and then on the project selector. Like, if you struggle with this, I am not judging, because this web console can be a maze, especially if you use it for the first time. So I create new project. I'll give it a great name. What is a great name? Adventure Game Wietse. That's an amazing name. Now I choose a billing account. So this is interesting. I have two. You might not see this because you have just one, but I don't see which one is the one that got the credit attached. So I'll just pick one. No organization. So it's now creating the project in the background. And then this pop-up appears, like created a project. I can select it. Now it's selected because it appears in this project selector thing. So I select the game that I create name 123. Yeah, that's an amazing name too. Like I'm not opinionated when it comes to naming. I have a simple name mind. So now I want to check if the correct billing account was assigned. So I select a project, I go to billing. Billing account, Google Cloud Platform Trial. Billing account is linked, so I go to it. And now again, I can go to credits. And I should see, that I added the wrong one. But this is from the previous demo. So you will likely not have this issue. But there's a bit of trial and error here. So if I selected the wrong billing account, I can change billing here. And then, well, it was the first one. I don't know. Let's try it. So now I can go to billing again. Here, link billing account. And now hopefully it was the right one. Yes, it is the right one. So now I have a Google Cloud project with billing attached, which is great because that was the first step in the tutorial, right? If you click Start the Workshop, you can go to the workshop outline, set up cloud. We are at an in-person event because there's a credit link. I went to the Google Cloud Console. I created a new project. I used the project selector at the top end of the page to select it, and I linked I made sure that the right billing account was linked. So now you have to decide, am I going to run this just in the web console, or do I want this to run on my local machine? If you've never used Google Cloud before, I do recommend option A. So that means you go to the web console and you click on this top right thing here to activate Cloud Shell. And this will bring up a virtual machine for you, and you got a shell access on it. So there it is. Oh, and I can see that I already made a mistake because I used the wrong project for it. So because I'm not using Smart Acrobat today. No, I was Adventure Game Wietse. Okay, I'll close this tab. So this is terminal. I can do anything I can do in a terminal. But it is sometimes very nice to have a text editor, right? So there is one built into Google Cloud. You can open the editor. There's this button here to open it. And it will bring up Visual Studio Code. Yay. Okay, marked on. Which is useful because if you want to have, if you want to edit files, you want to have an editor, right? And also Gemini Code Assist is integrated. You can go to View and add more panes. My cat is on my spacebar. Here, please move away. Up. Yes. Okay. So that was Google Cloud Shell. You found the terminal icon. Or you do it on your local host. That means you need to install gcloud. You need to have a Python environment. So this is definitely the option I recommend if you want to go deep. But there's many more options, many more ways to run into challenges along the way. This is the well-paved, well-lit path through the web console. So then the next step is to start playing the game, right? So go to the play page, work through level 0, and check the leaderboard. Let's see, how's the leaderboard doing? Ta-da! Ooh, looks like someone finished the second level already. Hidden Bishop on the top now. Like all the scores in the hundreds, those are people that finished level 0, and some of them found the treasures and took them all the way to the end. So there's 2 treasures in it. Okay, there's a question in the chat. I have a problem. Sorry, you aren't eligible for the free trial at this time. Yeah, so this is confusing because Google Cloud also has a separate trial. So if you want to claim the credit that we provide, you need to follow this this link. The claim credit link, which is separate from the free trial, but they have similar names. So this is very confusing. So if you already accepted the credit terms, you might already have the credit and it will just work. Yeah, so you got the credit, and then there's a second prompt in the web console, like, hey, we have free $300, and you can accept it. But I think they do ask for your credit card to accept this trial. So, but this is, you can ignore that. It's you have the credit with the $5, so you should be able to go to the web console and create a project. Right, so you can go click on the project picker, do new project, and then double check if the credit was applied. So earlier when I went through this flow, I created this one, and then I can go to billing, and go to the linked billing account, and then scroll down to credits to see that my 100% remaining $5 of credit was attached. So, and $5 might look like a cheap thing for us to do, but it will help you get access to the free tier on Google Cloud. Because usually, if you have the billing account, you need a billing account to do anything. So most of our products have a generous free tier, like you can use it for free. Like Cloud Run, you can pretty much host a website on it for free in the free tier, but only if you have this billing account. So with the $5, you can take it a long way. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you get prompts for accepting the $300 credit thing, you can ignore it, because that will require you to give your credit card details, and you don't have to, because we provide this link for you. Okay, so for those competing for the leaderboard, there are 2 treasures in level 0. One is the cube, and then the other treasure you have to discover yourself. So if you didn't succeed in activating the credit, just leave a message in the chat, so I can walk through the process again. If you don't, I'm going to assume that you made it through and you are already at the next step of playing the game. And it looks like quite a few of you already are. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you at least explored the level for a bit and you have a feeling for how this game works. And next step is to learn about the API to this game, right? So this game has an API with an API key that you can use. So we can test by sending a request to it. So I'll copy this curl command and then go to my web console, open the Cloud Shell, which is this button, like the terminal-shaped button in the top. I can run the curl command here. There you go. And you get back some JSON. It's not super readable, so let's pipe it through JQ, which is the response. To level 0. And it's like this with every, so I can also look around the room now. Stand on the wireframe grid, right? So those are the same responses as you could see in the UI. And there's many more endpoints. So starting a game, looking around in the room, move to the next exit, take an item, drop the item, use an item or two on each other. You need that to solve the second level. Examine items or features in the room, and take a look at your inventory. Of course, I'm not going to expect you to try all of these by hand and play the game with curl. That would be mean. I don't want to be mean. So let's go to build an agent. And this starts with taking a step back and setting up Google's agent development kit. So I have a guide for you to get started with it, which explains you all the steps that you need to take to get started in the web console. So UV and G-Cloud, you need that to get started. They are available in the web console. So UV is there and G-Cloud is there. So you don't need to install anything if you're doing everything in the web console. So I want my agent to use Gemini, right? So first I need to enable this API. So I copy this. I will go here. Okay, so now it's enabling the API. And now it asks me to create a new directory for it. So I'll copy this. So it will make a directory called agent project, change into the directory, and then run UV in it. So now I have a UV initialized project. So if you are familiar with Python but never used UV yet, I do recommend you do that because it's a package manager that's a replacement for things like PyEnv and pip and Poetry. But it is very convenient because it's a lot more faster. It has a local cache, and there's just one tool you have to use instead of the whole like forest of all the things. Like when I started to learn Python, which is fairly recently, it gave me a headache to learn about all this, and UV makes me very happy because it's just one tool that handles everything. Okay, so next step is adding Google ADK. And it's adding all the dependencies that ADK needs. You see how fast this is? I like it. Okay, I added UV ADK in the agent. So now we can see ls, like there's a main.py file and a project.toml and a readme. That's all created by UV for me. I can also run commands inside of the virtual environment. with UV. So I do UV run and then a command I want to run. So I'll copy this. This is a command that will scaffold an agent. And now I'm scaffolding the agent and it's asking me to make a choice, right? So I'll say, choose a model for the root agent. So now it's suggesting either to use Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is a great model, or any other model. So I'll do 1. We did release Gemini 3, but it's still in preview. So I think that's why the default here is 2.5 Flash, which is great. It works great for the game. Now, the next question is choose a backend. Now, this is an important question. So there's 2 ways to access Gemini. One is through Google AI, and the other one is through Google Cloud. And the name they give it here is Vertex AI. So that's the one you want to pick because we are running this on Google Cloud. And then it says, hey, you need a Google Cloud account and a project and a billing account. We all did this, right? So it says here, enter Google Cloud project ID. And by default, it will already suggest the one to use. So the only thing I have to do here is press enter. And picking a region. So it proposes US Central 1. I suggest you say global here. I think it's also in the blog. Yes, Gemini 2.5 Flash, Vertex AI, use global. Because what global does, it will just find a region near you that has capacity. Okay, so now I have an agent directory with my first agent with a few files in there, right? Let's take a look at what it created. I will click on this Open Editor button here and open my agent project file and look at this main.py. And then there is an agent directory in my agent project directory that has the actual agent, which has this. Now, a nice thing of ADK is that it has a web UI you can use to explore, to interact with your agent. So I can do UV run ADK web. So this starts a local web server. And you might be wondering, how do I access this? Because this is running on Cloud Shell, which is a VM in Google Cloud. How do I access it? The answer is click on this link. And that brings you to this like proxy to your machine. So this is useful. You can start any web process on your Cloud Shell machine, and you can access it through this proxy that uses your credentials to securely access it. So now I have a chat window. I can say hello to my agent. And Gemini 2.5 Splash, Splash, that would be a nice model name, Flash, responds with, hello, how can I help you today? Do you like adventure games? The text-based ones? As an AI, I don't have a personal preference. Okay. However, I find the concept of adventure games very interesting. Well, that's great because we are going to teach Gemini how to play it. Are fascinating from my perspective because they rely on language and logic and narrative, and I excel at doing this. So Gemini wants to play my game. This is exciting. Okay. I can feel you're excited too. Like I don't see you, and there's no comments, but I'm assuming that you're just as excited about this as I am. Okay, web preview. Next step is I'm starting to push a bit through it because we have. I want you to get to the point where you at least have a first agent running connected to the game, so you can continue after the session ends. And we have 15 minutes left or something. Okay. So next step is connect the agent to the game. Remember, an agent in its essence is calling Gemini with tool access. If you saw my earlier talk today, demonstrating Gemini CLI, that's an agent too, right? So Gemini with access to tools. And in this case, the tools we're going to provide to the agent are the web endpoints. Replace the code in agent.py with the following listing. So I'll walk you through dependencies, an open API spec. Okay, I want to show you this. Pretty print this. This is an open API doc of the entire API that provides like, hey, what is this API call about, and what does it return? How is it protected? What are the parameters? Now, if I give this to ADK, it can use it to automatically create tools that have this description. So then the agent knows, okay, if I want to look around in a room, I might want to use the look endpoint, etc. So that's that first step. I will need to authenticate it using the API key. So you'll need to copy and add that later. Then I initialize the Open API toolset, which is the piece of logic that will turn this spec into tools for the model. So that's a toolset object. And then my root agent, I initialize it and add this toolset. And I give it a bunch of instructions. Now, I do have to confess, these first instructions deliberately make a very stupid agent, because that's the whole thing. I want you to figure out how to provide instructions that will make your agent get a high score. So these are very bad system instructions, and I deliberately do it to trigger you to to be creative and to figure out how to make it autonomous and effective. Okay, so I'll copy and paste the code. Go back to my web console, open editor, go to agent.py, and replace everything. And okay, well, that's great. What do I do next? No. Okay, set your game API key. So remember when I configured this OpenAPI toolset connection, I said like, hey, grab my game API key from the environment. So this is the API key for your user account, specifically on this game. So I copy this, and I need to open the .env file next to agent.py. And this is going to be a great surprise, because I go to my editor here in Google Cloud, and there is no .env file. What is happening here? Because there is one, but it's hidden by default, which is kind of mean. I don't know why we do this. So that's why I added this. Like, if you can't find the env file, it might be hidden. You can reveal it by going to View and then toggle Hidden Files. Okay, let's do that. View, toggle Hidden Files. Great, there's much more to explore. Okay, so now my .env file is visible. Great. Okay, so I'll add this line, ADK API key. You don't remove this, right? Add this game API key and store. Okay, next. Restart development web UI, right? Because we started it earlier to try the default thing, and it doesn't automatically pick up changes. So I go back to my terminal. I will do Control-C to quit out of this, and then arrow up to run it again. And I go again to my chat interface. There we go. Hello. Welcome to the text adventure game. Would you like to start level or list level? Well, why not start level 0? Level 0. Okay. Levels are okay. I want to start level -0. I need to be specific. I wonder why. It's because I added it in the system prompt, right? Because an agent in its essence is instructions, a model, and a list of tools, and a goal, right? There we are. Okay, start level. What do I like to do? Move north. In the asset library, examine texture. So basically, it doesn't want to do anything for me but get command. So that's because I prompted it like that. If I ask it to solve the entire level, I will say no. I cannot solve the level because it instructed you to do to only do commands. So I can play through the entire level, but let's not gonna do that. Let's not do that here, because that's the next step. So teach the agent to think for itself, and so that means I'm updating the instructions. You know what? I'm just gonna show you what a very simple thing you can do is just, I don't know, why don't we remove all the instructions? Let's see if that works. Here, instructions. You're an expert in text-based adventures. Maybe that works. I don't know. I'm just figuring this out. So I restart the thing again to load everything. Start a new session here. There you go. Solve level 0. Maybe it works. Okay, starting a level. Whoa. Look, it's doing things. It looks around, examines things. This is exciting. Oh, I hit a 429 error. Okay, so this sometimes happens because we're using these free credits. They trigger a few extra restrictions because we don't have your credit card, so we don't know who you are, so things are a bit more limited. That means that because this is making a lot of Gemini API calls in a short amount of time, so it got to making more than 29 calls in just 10 seconds. So you hit a rate limit. So we'll give you this notice, like 429 resource exhausted. So I need to let it cool down for a bit, and then I just say continue. Hopefully I was patient enough. This is an issue. I'm not always patient. And then it continues, right? So if you hit this 429 error, again, okay. So, well, we need to be patient. There is no rate limiting feature in ADK. I wish there was one. Yeah, but there isn't. Okay, so another issue, like I did something like really basic, right? I just told the agent to, go do. You're an expert in text-based adventures. That's the role you have. And it's like, okay, I can do this, but it's not telling me anything, right? It's just doing. So maybe one instruction, and I really want you to start like thinking about this. How do I improve this? One thing you could do here is before taking an action, explain your thinking. Maybe that is useful, right? So start exploring and finding a good way. So it looks like someone already finished all the levels. Congratulations. Also, there is still room. You didn't find all the treasures. There's a few ones super well hidden, and a bunch of people. Wow, a lot of people already made it through level 1, and many through level 0. This is exciting. We are running out of time in this session, but this page will continue to be up. The leaderboard is active until 8 p.m. today, so you can like continue working on this and try to get a good score. I hope I provided you with enough to get started. Right? And then the final level requires you to it has a new kind of puzzle that cannot be solved by Gemini on its own. So we'll need to add a new tool. But this is, I think, basically what you need to once you get to this point, and you should be able to make it through the entire workshop. on your own. Yeah, I think we have 1 more minute. So if you have a question, you can leave a comment. Yeah, another thing is don't hesitate to, if you have further questions, don't hesitate to find me online. There's a link to my blog here, and here my on the about page is a link to my LinkedIn profile. I promise that I will accept any connection request I get.
Thank you so much, Wietse, for this amazing workshop. It was very fun to solve the little puzzles.
Cool.
So thank you so much again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
For our last session in the Galata Room, before our last session, there will be another 15 minutes of break, and the third form for today will be shared as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you so much, and we'll come back in shortly. Wietse, çok teşekkür ederiz muhteşem sunumu için. Gerçekten çok etkileyici ve gerçekten de çok eğlenceli bir workshop'tı. Günün son oturumu için bu session'daki, Galata session'ındaki son oturumundan önce bir 15 dakika yine bir aramız olacak. Birazdan yine chat'te 3. formumuz paylaşılacak. Doldurmayı unutmayın. 15 dakika içerisinde görüşmek üzere. Yeniden herkese merhabalar. Galata Odası'nın son workshop ile beraber bugün Riccardo bizlerle. Riccardo Carlesso kendisi şu an Coding and ADK Agent ve Gemini CLI sunumuyla bizlerle beraber olacak. Chat'te şu an 3. formumuz halen mevcut. 3. formumuza girerek şu an hala çekilişimize katılabilirsiniz. Üstüne $5 Google kredisini almadıysanız hala şu an alabilirsiniz. Chat'te linkler mevcut. Thanks again and welcome again. We are starting our final workshop. Riccardo Carlesso is here for the Coding and Agent via Gemini CLI workshop. Riccardo, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Ciao Ege.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I had the tab muted, but now it all works. So, can you see Builders Day Istanbul and a red thing moving?
Yes, we can.
Ege, can you?
We can, yeah, we can see it.
Fantastic. So let me get started. Hi everyone, my name is Riccardo Carlesso. I'm a developer advocate for Google Cloud. I'm based in Zurich. And I'm here to talk to you about a code lab that I just built a month and a half ago, and I'm very proud to present it to you. There is also a why to it. So I will first introduce you to what it does. Hopefully I will be here for 5 to 10 minutes max to let you do your stuff for the rest of this little hour that you have to do it. So the code lab is about building a simple travel agent with ADK and Gemini CLI. So we are going to use a few cloud technologies, but in particular, we are going to use the 2 agentic giants that we have built in the last couple of years. One is ADK, and the other is Gemini CLI. What my code lab tries to do is trying to solve the problem of how do I code an agent with ADK, and how do I use something like a framework like ADK, which maybe I'm not familiar with, by using a Swiss Army knife tool like Gemini CLI. Or in other words, how do I do these 2 things together? Okay, so I'm going to first walk you through what this thing is, and then a bit more deeper into the why and how you can apply to your day-by-day work, hopefully. So if you didn't get your credits yet, you're going to need this now. So I'm going to use 30 seconds of your time to take a picture of this if you haven't yet, and click on the link and reclaim your credits. So this code lab is done in 2 milestones. And the first milestone is made of 4 very simple baby steps. Because again, I come on the assumption that you never used ADK before, so I don't want to scare you. I want to make it very easy for you. So after an initial phase of installation, you get Python, you get the ADK installed and blah, blah, blah, all of the kind of boring installation part. After the installation part, you need to follow 4 baby steps. And Gemini CLI is going to help you with those if you have set up Gemini CLI correctly. Number 1, we create a basic agent. This basic agent is very simple. It can answer basic question, but it fails even to tell you what time it is. So it's very sad. It doesn't even know what time is it now. What the hell? How can I make a travel agent? It doesn't even know what day is it today. So then we first add a little tool. This is just like a baby step. Second baby step, we add a tool which tells you what time is it now. Now the baby agent is very happy because it knows that now is Thursday, 12th of March 2026, and the time is blah blah blah. I think it's 12 something for me, it's 14 something for you. Then we switch gears and we introduce Google Search. Now the agent is able to ground whatever question you have with Google Search. You can ask what the weather is. You can ask how you plan a trip from Zurich to Istanbul, or from Istanbul to Prague or London, etc. And so it's a lot more powerful now. And then in the step 4, which is the funniest one, you're actually adding a tool, an MCP server, which is able to talk to Airbnb. So let's say you're planning to go to London. You can say, I want to book I want to book a hotel in London from tomorrow night to Sunday night. And I want to be in the King's Cross area. Or maybe you're not planning to travel. You're just in Istanbul. You just want to have an Airbnb for 2 nights close to the Galata Tower, because, you know, like me, you're Italian, or you have Italian heritage, and you know it was built by the Genoan, and you like the tower and the area. It's a beautiful hill. So those are the 4 steps. And again, I know that some people in the room are like, oh my God, this is so boring. This is so easy. Well, I have something for the best in the class who say, okay, I can do this in 20 seconds. Tranquilly, I can get it harder for you. So after you've done this with the aid of Gemini CLI, I have 10 open-ended problems to solve. And I also gave them a score of easy, medium, complex. So depending on how good, and so let's say you use ADK every day, go directly to the complex one. You never used ADK before, go on the green ones. If you feel like you're somewhere in the middle, you might choose one of the medium ones, right? I gave you some tips. There are some links here and there to help you. Hopefully, I give you some ideas. This code lab for language people, for people who know Python, this code lab is designed for Python and to use ADK for Python. But if you're not a beginner and you know how to use Golang and TypeScript, you can actually just do it for Go and TypeScript. I think there's also Java if you want. So you just need to tweak a few things. So, I mean, you need to know what you're doing. You need to change a few things in the installation. But if you think this code lab is too easy for you, you can actually try to do it directly in this new language. You just need to git clone a different code lab. Now, this is what it is about. And I don't know what you get in this 1 hour. Hopefully you will finish the milestone 1. You will get the -2 started in this hour. And hopefully you're so excited that you will finish it later on. Now, let me tell you the why of this code lab. This code lab, as I said at the beginning, tries to intertwine Gemini CLI, which, if you don't know about it, it's a CLI tool by Google, which you can install for free. It has a very generous free quota, so everybody can use it for free for their personal projects, for your work projects, and you can use it to power charge your bash, your CLI, your terminal. And at that point, we use Gemini CLI to download ADK and to make ADK work in little steps. That's why I created those baby steps, because Gemini CLI will tell you that if you find a bug in the code lab, you can tell CLI, hey, there is a bug, how do I get this? And CLI will help you. So think of CLI as your driver, as your helper, and ADK is the framework we're going to study today, which is why you can use the Python ADK, which is what this code lab is about, but you can also use the Java ADK, the JavaScript, the TypeScript ADK, or the Golang ADK, whatever helps you. And now let me tell you the last thing. Today, you're going to use Gemini CLI with ADK. Tomorrow, there's another complex framework you know nothing about. I hope this code lab will teach you the little tips that help you use Gemini CLI to navigate any complex framework, or not so complex, hopefully, as in the case of ADK, to reach awesomeness and a little bit of automation. So to have AI help you build AI agents. There's a little bit of meta coding here, right? So that's pretty much it. A few links about me if you want to add me on LinkedIn or on Linktree. There are a lot of links about myself. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So please get started. I will be here for the rest of the hour to answer your questions. And feel free to get started. Here, I think I have a QR code and the link to the code lab, and a QR code and the link to Istanbul. So I will stay in this page here in such a way that I'm going to present this, and you will be able to progress and ask a question. So Ege, back to you, or feel free to tell me if there are questions and let me know, and I will answer at the best of my knowledge.
So if you can you share the link to me so that I can share it in the chat? The code lab link, please.
Yeah, of course. Control-C and Control-V. There you are.
Thank you so much. Okay, the link is in the chat right now, so you can go and get to work, I guess.
I'm now joining the chat as well. I did it yesterday in the rehearsal, but not today. Sorry about that. Okay, now it should be, I can say something like, hi, everyone. Beautiful.
So maybe we can go through the steps first, and then, because we are online and we are streaming right now, so that we can see everybody's screens. Maybe we can go through the steps and maybe do it ourselves first.
Yeah. Sorry, are you asking me to present the steps again or to go through the code lab itself?
We can go through the code lab itself.
Okay, so here is an introduction of the code lab, which I let you read. As I said, the code lab is is written for Python. So if you follow all the things, it will be Python. But you can also think critically and say, well, I really want to do TypeScript or Java. Just suit yourself. Just click on this link, and you just tell Gemini CLI. You can actually tell Gemini CLI, hey, I want to do it in TypeScript instead, and get some help. That's the beauty of this. You have an agent helping you build an agent. Now, setup. This is the point where you're going to call to use the beautiful links that Ege just sent you before, and that you downloaded hopefully at the beginning of our conversation to reclaim credits. Now, that will take 20 minutes for me to explain, but I understand by talking to my colleagues that you ran through this already this morning for the other code lab. So I assume the majority of you have already done that. So I'm going to go to the hardest part, which is the installation, if that's okay with Ege. So installation. First, you need to have Python on your computer. Sorry, again, tell me something.
Yeah, we can go through the steps.
You
like installation and stuff. Yeah.
I'm doing this. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm presenting this, right? So prerequisite installation, which is the step 3. So first things first, I ask you to use Python. Now, most people would have Python and they would use virtualenv to install the Python version that they want. I strongly encourage you to use UV, Astral UV. Why every colleague I know loves UV and is using UV? What is the power of UV? UV is a bit like Python with virtualenv, but it has a power that is needed from Gemini CLI perspective. And let me explain the problem to you. If you have Gemini CLI installed and Gemini CLI tells you to do something, when you do something on the command line, you do something that for you it works and for CLI doesn't work, and vice versa. And the reason is that it all depends on how you configure virtualenv. You need to do .env bin activate. And once you activate, it changes your path and it changes your Python. So it will repurpose your path to use. It will do some CLI magic. And the problem is that now your agent and you will see 2 different words. That's why I wanted to install UV, because once you do, it takes a bit longer to do, but once you install UV, first, it will be your friend for life, in my opinion. Second, by putting the recipes inside a toml of configuration, both you and your agent will see the same thing. So when Gemini CLI says, do this, and you cut and paste the command, it will work and will give you the same output. So that's the reason. Second thing is we want to install Gemini CLI. Gemini CLI can be installed in so many different ways. Okay, on a Mac, use Brew. On a Windows, on Windows it's more complicated. You need to first download Node.js and make sure that you have Node version 20 more. And it took me a little while, which means that you might need to install NVM. So on Windows, you have a couple of steps to do. On Mac, it's just Brew. On Linux, it's just apt-get install or again npm install. But the important part is that you need npm installed. Once you do all of this, you will have Gemini CLI working on your computer. The authentication, you don't need any money. You can just authenticate with an API key, which you can produce with the $5. You just go on Google AI Studio API key, you create an API key, you put it here. That's one option. Or you can just use the project ID that you created as part of the activation, and you can use the authentication here. Or you can also log in with your Gmail account. Easy peasy. So you have so many options. If one fails, use the other. I guess the best option for you is the B with Vertex, but honestly, I really don't care. As long as you have the chat and say, hey, hi, how are you? Do it in Turkish. Don't do it in English. I speak in Italian to my Gemini. Speak it in Turkish to Gemini and say, hey, what's up? And see if it answers. Because if the key works, the authentication works, then it will answer. As I said, Gemini CLI is completely free. It has a generous quota. And when you run out of quota, you can do /model to change the model to a different model. And usually different models have different quota. So you get to use it for another hour. Set up your work environment. Now, this is the point where if you do this is the point where you download my workshop, you enter into my workshop folder, you create a solution folder where you put your own code. Note there will be Riccardo's code and your code will start with nothing. And that's what you tell Gemini CLI to build, right? And you will start creating an empty file, an empty init and an empty agent. Then you do UV sync. UV sync will use this magical TOML file, which is here. And we'll use this to install ADK and MCP and NCP library. Don't know if you're following. So now you have cloned my repo. You entered my repo. This is important. Some people forget to do it. And they say, I don't find the file. Yeah, because you need to enter this folder. And then you create like a skeleton for the solution that you're going to build with the help of your buddy Gemini. You do UV sync and you start Gemini. Starting Gemini CLI is very important. You need to do it in the right folder. For security reason, Gemini CLI should only be able to look at the code that you're working on. That's why if you call Gemini CLI from a sub folder, it has too little context. If you call it on the home directory, it has too much context and it's very dangerous because it can delete all of your desktop and MP3s and pictures, and that would be silly. So that's why you run it from inside the folder of ADK Gemini CLI workshop, which is Riccardo repo with all of the goodies that you need to do it. And as I said, you have my solution where you are working on it. So at this point, you can simply tap make step 1 and check that you don't get a 403 permission denied. Let's see what the make file says. Okay, the make file, step 1. Where is the step 1? It's not there. It's in the just file. So I think this, yeah. So you can test some steps and it should fail because the system is not going to work because you didn't build it yet. You didn't build the code. It's a bit like TDD. We are first writing a test that fails and then going through it. At this point, Gemini CLI should be able to help you and guide you through all of the complexity. If you don't understand something, you ask. So I would say the important step is that you are able to run this. If you do this, you're done. Everything that fails, he will help you build it. Okay. I also left some solutions somewhere here. Where are they? Scripts, eval, no, sorry, this is the wrong one. Steps. Here there are the steps with the code that I wrote already for you. So if you want, you can just copy them. So what I'm saying is that you can use this code lab in 2 ways. You can cheat your way through the end and just copy. In this way, you get to the end fast, but you understand less of it. The second approach is you do all by yourself. And the recommended approach is that you use Gemini CLI to give you some tips. You try to do it yourself, and then you fail, and then he gives you some tips. And remember, we can get very lazy very quickly, so you can get Gemini CLI to fix all of your issues until it works. The feedback I got from this code lab is that here and there people encounter difficulties. Maybe I introduced the bug into the code lab and there is a mistake, there is an insurmountable problem. Gemini CLI will solve it for you. That's the beauty of having an up-to-date, powerful LLM in your machine at your service. As I said, there are some solutions available and you can look for them. Now, I will pause a second because I will get, hopefully, some people asking me for question. Ige, do we have any questions so far? Or do you think people are intent at working?
I think they're working right now. There is no question in the chat, but yeah, I think they're working on it.
Beautiful. So
if people are here working on it, can you just raise a hand or anything? Maybe drop an emoji in the chat.
in my opinion, the installation part will be the more difficult to do. And but once you have that, it's a problem you have solved forever. Now you have Gemini CLI installed in your computer. Oh, okay. We have two.
There are some people.
Three. Fantastic.
Then let's just wait for them, I think.
So how do we get these people? I mean, I trust your judgment here. How do we get Osniprk to ask a question?
Maybe they're just following your steps right now, and I think if there are no errors or anything, maybe they won't ask any questions. Maybe in the later steps, I don't know.
Personally, the hardest part in the steps, in my opinion, is installing Gemini CLI for Windows. And I've done it on all computers, of course, when I test my labs. So on Mac is the easiest. You just do brew install. When you do it on Linux, you just need to make sure the NPM is up to date. And some old Debian, some hardened, some Ubuntu from 2018 will have an old enough NPM, and then you need to kind of force a newer NPM. On Windows, what I found that it worked for me is I would go to NVM, which is a NPM manager in a way. Yeah, and I would, wait a second, NPM. Or even simpler, I would do npm install Windows executable. npm install Generative, check your version on node npm. Yeah. So as you can see, there are some version managers like Node East and NVM Windows. And usually they have an exe in the branches or tags. Sorry, in the releases. Where are the releases? But they should be linked in here. Download now. Yes. There you are. So for Windows people, I'm going to attach for Windows. This comment has failed to post to Google Developer Community Turkey. So I'm going to send it to you. There you are. And I'm also going to share it via, oops, this is the wrong one. More tool, share QR code. Again, if you are on Windows and you're stuck installing NPM, this could help you. As I said, NVM is a package manager, just like virtualenv is for Python or ASDF, the usual. I'm migrating to ASDF because ASDF allows me to manage multiple nodes, multiple Rubies, multiple Pythons, all in a single command. So you just have the pain once, and then your computer is set up for success for all of your languages. Certifica verlemeyeketsek
For these type of questions, our moderators will answer in the chat. And I see some people finished installation on Windows computer as well, and some people wrote that, they don't have any questions as well.
So if you want, I can move to step 1, 2, 3, 4, but those are really, really simple and trivial. Of course,
Yeah, I think we can, because we have time, so maybe we can go through them quickly and then...
Absolutely. Question, this is live and forgotten after it, or it will be saved? Because if it's saved and recorded, then it can make sense that I go through all of it.
Yeah, it will be saved. It will be saved.
Okay, so let me go through it. So let's assume that you have done all of your installation. Again, the error number one that people do at my workshop, because I've done plenty of them, is that they forget to do the CD. They usually open open VS Code in the folder above, the folder below. So remember, contextually, you need to be inside Riccardo's repo. That's the mistake number one. Now, once you've done that, you're going to create your first agent. So the first agent has the init, which has a single line. You copy it. You don't need to understand what it does. It basically tells you the code is in the other file, and from the other file, import the root agent variable. And the other file is just this. How beautiful it is, ADK. You just give a name to the agent. You take a model, you give it instruction, and it's ready to go. But again, this agent is quite naked. It doesn't do much. Now, the second part that I really love about my code lab is that, okay, you've created this, but I want to teach Gemini CLI to test it for you, because I don't know if you're familiar with it. You studied at the university probably that you'd never have a while inside a while, because while is infinite and a second while just looks it forever, right? Similarly, if you have an agent coding an agent, you don't want the agent to call the agent and answer to the agent, because agents are not able to call an agent and start speaking to it in English. Oh, how are you? I'm good. I'm the meta agent. Oh, I'm the child agent, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. So what I do is I want to create some little tests like echo, hi, how are you, pipe, ADK run agent name. If you do this, you create a little test and you can test a little functionality. You can say, how are you? It means that if it answers how it is, it knows how the API key works. What is the time? I don't know. Haha. So the basic agent works, but it doesn't know what time it is, right? So you can do ADK run, or UV run ADK run my solution, which is probably the one that you will run if you have UV. And then, as I said, you're going to have the system up and running. Another thing, if you are not a CLI person, you like web, you can do UV run ADK web. This is fantastic because it spins up a web server and you can start interacting and chit-chatting with a chat, like if you are in gemini.google.com, right? This is fantastic. Now, second step, as I said, it doesn't know what time it is. Now you're going in your My Solution folder and you're going to patch the code to give other functionality. Okay, sorry, the to-dos are because I haven't added images in yet, long story. So at this point, you are going to add a function. You can add whatever you want. You can add more function. Please knock yourself out with ideas. For example, put the host name, put the location, use a location survey to tell me where I am. So it will answer Istanbul to you and it will answer Zurich to me, for example. Feel free. There are APIs for that. There are also websites which you can just curl. Just ask Gemini CLI to help you. It will do it for you. Okay, at this point, and look at this. I want to do what time is it in Milan, and pipe UV run ADK run my solution. This is why we are using UV, because now you and Gemini CLI are both able to do it. And trust me, this test here will give you the right time in step 2, but it will give you the wrong time in step 1 because we haven't built the now tool yet. Okay, now we move to step 3. In step 3, now there is a little bug. Well, not a bug. It's let's say it's a missed expectation. Maybe I would expect to be able to have the now tool and the Google search tool, and for this is impossible. The Gemini 2.5 models don't allow you to both have tool calling and Google search. You need to choose between the two. So in the step 3, I switch gears because I want to show you different things. I will tell you, remove that time now and just give it Google search. And if you say, but I want both, fine, you can have both. But to have both, you need to create 2 agents and call them, I don't know, like the custom tool and the Google tool agents, and then have a father agent that does both. I think I linked a possible solution here. I explain why this is the problem, but for most of you, unless you're really, really curious, just ignore the problem and just move on. In step 1 and 2, we have tooling. In 1 and 2, in the 2, we have the tooling. In the 3, we have the Google search. In the 4, we go back to the tooling. So we go back to patching the number 2, and we kind of comment out the Google search. And then we add an MCP. How beautiful it is. You have just these lines to call the right library. You add this to instantiate an MCP client for OpenBNB MCP server. Of course, you need npx installed, which is part of the npm installation steps. So if you have npm, you should also have npx, I hope. Filabug, if that's not the case. It was also the case for me, but maybe I didn't check all the possible corner points. And then finally, you are including it there. Now, the step 4 is fantastic, because in the step 4, you're able to say, tell me, I want to book a hotel for tonight. The system doesn't go to the internet. It doesn't go to Google stuff. It just will use the Airbnb MCP server. A little note, because I've done this twice already, the NPC server, the Airbnb server, by default gets angry if you do a lot of questions to it. And 300 people from Istanbul asking questions can look like a DDoS service to this NPC server, because it's an NPC server which is hosted, right? So they have a server listening, and they have 350 people asking for hotels in Istanbul. So that's why you might want to call it with ignore robots.txt, which is it's a way to cheat the way to not tell you what it is, but honestly, use it with caution. Like what I'm telling you, be nice. Don't hammer those services too much. Try it a few times, but don't overuse it, because we are using somebody else's server, right? And now when you're done all of this and it all works, congratulations, you were able to build a 4-step ADK service, which you can now use. Now, when I run this in a hackathon, as I did in Milan or in Geneva, usually this is the easy part. Usually people do this within the first hour. And then this is where the good stuff happens. Now you can do whatever you want. And don't be shy. These are 10 ideas that I put. It can be do the same on a different language. It can be put 5-star emoji like this. Notice that you can have also half star with this emoji of 50/50. So you could say when Airbnb comes back to you with I don't know, a 3-star, you might want to put 3 yellow and 2 black emoji to signify the number 3. I know it's silly, but it's fun, right? This I don't remember. The number 4 is interesting. Now I love my agent. I want to deploy to Cloud Run. Or maybe I want to deploy to Vertex AI Agent Engine. Let me tell you, if you deploy to Cloud Run, well, I'm pretty sure my colleagues already explained to you how beautiful and simple Cloud Run is. We love Cloud Run, so that's the easy answer. But you can also deploy to Vertex AI Agent Engine. I don't have a clue how to do it. Do you? Ask Gemini CLI to do it for you. And the beauty of the Vertex AI Agent Engine is that once you deploy there, it becomes part of your rows of servers that you can interrogate when you run Gemini Enterprise. So when you run Gemini Enterprise, you can say, hey, I want to book a hotel, and it will connect directly to your thing. So it will be part of your Swiss Army knife of agents. And now maybe tomorrow you'll build another agent and you will deploy another agent, and you know what I'm talking about. Now, the number 5, this is really funny, and that's what most people choose. Use Nano Banana MCP, which of course requires a Gemini API key. And now you can actually create an image. My demo was this number 5, create a, I don't know, a Nano Banana, like read the listing of the, let's say I want to book a hotel, a B&B for tonight in the Galata region of Istanbul. Give me the 5 cheapest versions, right? Or the 5 best versions, whatever you want. Then you get a list of 5. Then you could say for each one of those 5, read the fine print, read the long description, and feed the long description to Nano Banana to build an Airbnb kind of like, how does the room or the apartment look like, right? And I've created actually a very interesting prompt which did that by highlighting the number of rooms, the number of toilets, the floor, etc. So, and I did it in the style of Van Gogh, because why not? You can do whatever you want. So this is funny. Of course, if you feel like, oh, I'm a great developer, I can do something harder than this, well, then you could implement an Airbnb review agent, or you could add a sub agent that does the hotel search, and you can create a budget agent and a location agent. So you can create, an ADK is great at this. ADK is great at creating multiple agents that talk to each other. So you could have like a budget agent that makes sure that the choices that arrive to you are only choices which are on your budget, not more than $100, euro, Turkish lira that you have. The location agent will say, well, ensure it's not too far away from the Galata Tower, right? And stuff like that. So you would have a master or like a concierge agent which talks to all of this. So you basically transform the agent we built so far into the MCP hotel agent, right? Then you add an aid and budget and a location agent, and the concierge talk to each one of them and surfaces to you only the solutions that are good for you. The budget ones, the location one. Maybe you could have also a fancy UI agent, something that ensures that the quality of the UI is good, or that it reads the stuff. Maybe a memory that, for example, for my wife, it's very important to have a private bathroom, or for my family, it's very important to have at least 2 rooms because I snore and my wife doesn't like it. How could it be nice that you have a memory in remembering this stuff from you, and the agents pulling from the memory and then putting it there. You could build a memory. In the first step, you can just add a text file like riccardo.md or your name ege.md with your own customization, and then maybe you can surface it to an agent that persists it in memory. ADK supports memory. And then I have more complex ones. I have the flight agent. I have the integration with Nano Banana MCP. So allowing Nano Banana not only to produce images, but actually to show you the image in the chat, in the web phase. This is more complex. I did that. And if you want to copy the code, you can just copy from the issue 11. This will just allow you to cut and paste the code. So again, if you don't want to cheat, it's difficult. But if you cheat, that becomes easy. My friend Maurizio created a great ADK tutorial in a week. So if you love ADK and you have a week to spare, there you are. You're looking for a job, you want to become the Istanbul expert on ADK, do the great ADK tutorial from my friend Maurizio. And then remember, at the beginning, we downloaded all of ADK Python code under RAG. I know RAG it's probably a poor choice of words, but I created this as in like a retrieve augmented information to feed into Gemini CLI. And so you could say, oh, is there a feature that you think it's good there? Or is there a bug on ADK? The code of ADK, the whole code of ADK is in your code base. You just installed it without knowing it in the prerequisites tab, bro. So easy peasy. Little tip. You might want to patch, you download ADK with this script, and you might want to patch your .gemini settings.json to include the directory rag. This is, for the curious people, why did I do this? Or for the people who are watching the recording. I did this because if you don't want to download a repo and add it to the repo because it's another repo. You don't want to git add a sub-repo. That is silly. So usually you git ignore it, right? But if you git ignore it, Gemini by default doesn't look at git ignore stuff. So you could say, oh, don't git ignore it. Okay. But if you git ignore it, then Gemini will not look at it. In this, we are git ignoring it, but telling Gemini explicitly, do look at RAG folder. So you still ignore node modules and all the Pike cache and all the ugly cached directories that you don't really want to delve in. You don't want to waste context upon, but you still want to read this because this is gold. This is the whole ADK Python code. This is also the download ADK is also the script you might want to patch if you want to do it for Java, JavaScript, or Go. And that's pretty much it. This is a screenshot of ADK Web. After you've done it, you get a badge. And that's pretty much it. If you find a mistake, click report a mistake. And you add it here. This is from 2 weeks ago. And I can say the toml is now in the root folder. I consider this solved, but reopen if you feel there's another problem. Okay, so now all of the issues are closed. But if you find a bug and you are too shy to ask here, or it's you find it in 2 hours, or you find it tomorrow, feel free to open a bug here, and I will try to respond as quickly as I can. Okay, I see Alexis. Hi, Alexis. I see Alexis talking about the credits. So a little information about the credits. The $5 credits that we give you have no strings attached. So you don't need to provide any credit card or anything. That's an option. The $300 credits is orthogonal to this $5 credit. It's a different space that does require you to put a credit card in there. You can use both. You can use one. You can use the other. Whatever makes you happy. Like if you feel like, oh, I don't want to give you the credit card because I don't know what you're going to do with it. First, I want to tranquilize you. Even though you put the credit card, we will not charge you when you finish the $300. I think you need to explicitly accept or click yes before we start charging you. But again, you're sharing your credit card with someone else, and I understand that this can give itches to somebody. With the $5 credits, you don't need to put it at all. Oh, Gotkur Kolak, thank you for that question. How's Gemini CLI different from Antigravity? How to explain it? So they are very similar, and I can tell you Antigravity is an IDE with an engine inside which is Gemini CLI. So Antigravity is using Gemini CLI under the hood. I think there are many ways to look at it. For people who don't know Antigravity, I can tell you my life would be meaningless without Antigravity. As my manager says, I have my Antigravity spin using all of my free token every day to do some of my personal projects there in my personal computer. You can download it for Mac, for Linux, and also for Windows. Okay, so how is different? You ask me between the two. They are different things. So Antigravity is an IDE, and it has the superpower ability of allowing you to, or at least let me tell you how I use it, to allow you to navigate through multiple tasks at the same time. So Antigravity is like a multi-agentic IDE, which allows you to say, oh, do this, do that, and do that. And it does 3 or 4 things at the same time. You can do this also with Gemini CLI. Of course you can, but then you would have like 4 CLIs open, and usually your eyes goes like this. Antigravity allows you also to have artifacts, semi-baked stuff like, I don't know, you want to create a plan, you can interact with the plan. You can say, oh, I would do this. Okay. Oh, step 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is great. 2 is great. 3. Whoa. No. Before you do 3, you forgot this 2.5 step and say, okay, sorry. So you can refine this. You can do things. The beautiful part, it does it in parallel. When you come back or when you move to another tab, it will blink on your Mac window saying, hey, I wait for an answer on the task number 3 that I'm running. So it's a UI. It's comfortable, and it's more like high level. Gemini CLI is more single task in your terminal, but since it does a single thing, it's like Unix, right? It does a single thing, it does it very well. You have full control with command line. And if you're a command line person like me, you will find yourself learning a lot of tricks on CLI that on Antigravity don't work. I don't know, you can just add an extension with a / extension add, that you can call a command, you can do a lot of magical stuff because it's a CLI, right? You can really you can call commands in much easier way. So I would say for the CLI nerds, Gemini CLI will hit a great spot for you. For the UI, the person, if you code Java, you cannot code Java without an IDE, right? So if you're a Java developer, you're probably going to love Antigravity. If you're a Perl or Bash scripter, you're going to love Gemini CLI. But at the end of the day, Gotkur Kolak, you probably are going to use them for very similar steps. You can actually use Antigravity to run my entire code lab with Antigravity instead of CLI. I was actually planning on copying this code lab and do it with Antigravity. I don't know if there is value for that. Please tell me, reach out to me on LinkedIn if you think there is. But I would say that is the easy answer. So they are intertwined. Still, Antigravity is better for some things. CLI is better for some things. But it's also a matter of taste, in my opinion. And since I don't have any other questions, I am going to give you a different answer, Gotkorlak. I will give you my Friday and Saturday and Sunday, like my weekend advice. My disk is full. I go to Gemini CLI. I say, hey, bro, my disk is full. Help me here. And it will start doing DF, Docker images, and find what is capturing so much of your disk. One day is my Docker images. One day is my Olama. I have too many models. One day is I have too much in there. Then I have a Git repo, which I maintain. I have like a diary, which is maintained by me talking to an agent via Telegram. And that thing, I keep my family pictures, etc. And then maybe I have 3, 4, 5 different ideas. Like I have an entire GitOps, like multiple GitHub issues, etc. In a more complex thing like that, in my Linux at home, I have a beautiful Antigravity open. I actually have 6 desktops and I have 6 Antigravity open, 1 per desktop, I kid you not. And every Antigravity is in a different folder and it has 3 or 4 tasks that run. When I want to have the high-level view, I just click on show me the agent view, which I think is Command L or Control L, and then I get to see all of the things. It tells you the things that are running and the things that wait for an answer from you, and the things that don't wait for an answer because they're done. So Antigravity for more complex software development, multitask software development. Gemini CLI to solve a particular problem in a particular folder, bang, and then kill it when you're done. I would say that's another answer. Okay, what's the security best practice for agent-based application? Sorry, Emre Dukrun, are you talking about what is the security best practices when you use Gemini CLI or when you're creating an agent with ADK? Is more CLI-based or ADK-based? Sorry, because there are 2 different answers, I would say. Are you talking about this or are you talking about this about security? Oh, wow. Buznran de la Alice 2047. I'm going to your question while I wait for Emre Dukun. Okay, so I start with Emre Dukun. So again, I'm a Gemini CLI specialist. I think I'm not the best person to ask you about security, to answer security practices about ADK. So if you have security practices on ADK, my suggestion is open your Gemini CLI, make sure that you have downloaded the code under ADK, and ask security questions into your terminal. This is an amazing thing. Like, thanks for the question, because this is the type of question I can run it myself if you want. Download the ADK code, run Gemini in the code, and say, is there any security practice inside here? If there are, good. If there aren't, you could say, read all the code. What do you suggest I should or I should not do? And trust me, The answer of Gemini CLI, after eating all of the code for ADK in Python, let's say, it will give you a much better answer than any human can give you, except maybe the developers of the code. Whereas if you want advice on Gemini CLI, I can really advise you. There is a little gem in Gemini CLI, which is called, give me a second, I have it here, Policy Engine. If you want to do security well when using Gemini CLI, I suggest you use Policy Engine. For example, you're using an MCP which is potentially dangerous. You want to enable a tool but not another. Or maybe you want to enable 10 tools in a certain context, but only 2 tools in another context. You can create multiple policies that allow you to, this was developed by Alan Richardson, and which is one of the contributors of Gemini CLI, and I think it's a very powerful rule-based system. It's a bit like IP tables. It's a bit like IP tables for this. So good luck with that. Now let's move to Boers Randales Alice. This is an amazing question. So when building with sequential agent and loop agent structures, especially for self-healing workflow, what are your best practices for making these loops safer during the debugging phase? Okay, this is an amazing question. And again, probably I'm not the best person to answer this. So if there's somebody who knows ADK better than me, please let me know. I can tell you I'm a bash person. So what I do, and this is not a security, it's more of a acceptance testing. I would test each and every agent in isolation. So let's say that you have agent 1 that does finds the hotels on Airbnb, and the second that does the booking, and the third that does the budgeting, for example, right? So you want to test them in isolation. So let's say you have 3 agents in 3 different folders. I would create unit tests in those folders. And I would say you can use Gemini CLI to do that, right? You can test every single functionality without calling the agent. Then you can do some echo test prompt 1 pipe ADK run agent 42, for example, and test prompt 1 to test what time is it, prompt 2 to test Google Maps integration. And now you have not a unit test once you do this, but you have more of a how is it called, an acceptance test for that single agent. Now, once you have a sequential agent, so you have sequential is A, B, C, whereas a loop agent, I think, is one agent calling another agent. This is much more complex, right? So in my opinion, your question is amazing. I don't have a framework solution in my mind, but what I can advise you to is ask Gemini CLI or Antigravity to make a plan for you and to test all of the failure mode or the success modes that you want to test. For example, you could say, ensure that when I ask going back to my previous example, because of course I understand better my example than whatever is in your hand. Remember when I made the example of like a concierge, and I have a hotel booking, a budget booking, and can't remember the third one, or the proximity location, the one that checked that the location is actually correct, right? So you can check them all in isolation, right? And then you could create a little script, a little prompt that tests a single way. For example, you can test that the first agent correctly delegates to the second agent the second thing. And the way I would do it, I would create a prompt that tests what you want to test. Usually I would create something like docs, CUJs, and then CUJ01, test multi-agent, I say DOS budgeting correctly, .md. So first you have a folder with all of these things, and then you create an engine which calls that. Then you have from CLI, you cannot use web, you need to use CLI. So this, not Gemini CLI, you need to use ADK run, the root agent, and then do like echo this prompt here in there, and then test that the whole interaction is good with a second LLM. So you could say, run ADK root agent with this CUJ number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was actually planning to write an article for that, and I did something like that in the past. Ask me on LinkedIn, and I will talk to you about that. And then you can have echo scenario number 1, pipe ADK CLI run this thing here, and then this will take probably a minute or two. Then you paste this, which is it's simple text. Maybe you do a major output /01 / timestamp of today output.out. And then you feed that output as input to an LLM, which you call as an evaluator, right? And then you write the rule of the evaluator. Evaluate that this is done like this. So you could have maybe you could actually dry it out to have in the folder the CUJ. You could have like I'm thinking out loud, like you have I don't know, docs CUJs /01.md, and then you could have what is the hashtag? Sorry. Well, I would use H2 because I cannot find it. H2 prompt blah blah. And then H2 acceptance test. The test will work if blah blah. So if you do something like this, you use H2, so you can parse it. It's very easy to parse. You can use the first part to feed to the CLI to call to the root agent, then get all of the answers, feed all of the answer into another Gemini instance, which will take this, and you can automate all of that, right? I've done it for a personal project, and because of course the code is going to change. So maybe your colleague is going to change and tweak something that will make it misfunction in a very weird way, because as you correctly point out, it could be that each one works, but the loop agent or the sequential agent has something wrong. So you give a very smart, my suggestion is give a stupid LLM the first part because you don't need intelligence, and give a very smart LLM the eval part, the second part. And then what I do usually is create an output which tells me what went wrong, what went right, and if there's something, and if it has some suggestion or something in the code that I should be changing. Because again, it's Gemini CLI that you're calling, and it has the context of the whole code. So Gemini CLI, after finding the error, can pinpoint, oh, it is your code, file number 3, line number 15. Okay. I hope that made sense. Yeah, it was a bit complicated. I hope it made sense to somebody. Back to us. So anybody finished the milestone 1 and already starting the vibe code in milestone 2? Please, anybody who is already doing their own project, tell me, I'm in milestone 2 and I decided idea number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 10. But if you had another idea, please file a bug and say, I have idea number 11. Give me an idea. I will write it there if I like. Well, if it's good, right? If I don't find it redundant, I mean, I'm not trying to be snob. I'm just saying, like, find and put your idea, and I will add your idea. I will quote you in the thanks as well. Once again, if you want to add me on LinkedIn, I will post my LinkedIn because we're running out of time. Okay, this seems to be an out wall. Why there is an out wall? Copy and paste. Okay, the comment has failed. 1 minute left. So Ege, are we going to call it a day? I suppose is this the end of it, right?
Yeah, that's a wrap. And thank you so much for your wonderful presentation and workshop. It was very insightful. And yeah, see you on our next events.
Thanks for having me. And next time, I hope to be there in person so we can have some food together and we can have more Q&A in person. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
So yeah, that's a wrap on Galata Room. Thank you so much for joining. And we are gonna share a link to the chat right now for feedbacks. And if you fill out it, we'll be delighted. And thank you so much again. Now we are gonna head to the main room for the closing remarks. And thank you so much again. Riccardo Carlesso'ya çok teşekkür ederiz. Bugün Galata Odası'ndaki son oturumumuzu tamamlamış bulunuyoruz. Katılan herkese çok teşekkürler yeniden. Şu an chatte bir feedback formu paylaştık. Bu formu da doldurursanız eğer bize hani bir feedback verebilirsiniz. Biz de çok mutlu etmiş olursunuz. Şimdi ana salona geçeceğiz. Ana salonda da kapanış yapacağız. Yeniden katıldığınız için çok teşekkür ederiz.